back everyone, I'm Stephen Harold, Tiny House Listings, and I'm out here in my off-grid property in eastern North Carolina, just collecting and processing some firewood that will hopefully last me the rest of the winter to heat this little cabin up for when I'm here. Normally you won't need to use the wood stove past late March, maybe early April. So I just did about an hour's worth of work, and I was chopping down, I was using the wood from an oak that fell probably a year or so ago, because it's very nice and dry, and it's ready to be used immediately. But the oak fell, I think there was some issues with the root system or something, so it worked out really well. There's a ton of it, so I'll come back here later and I'm gonna try to get a nice little wood pile going. But I was thinking about that, and it's a beautiful thing, because there's a lot of people who have the desire to heat their home with wood, but if you live in a traditional home, that creates a lot of problems, because one, you're gonna need a lot of wood, cords and cords. And this morning, just for the heck of it, he's here in eastern North Carolina, I went on Craigslist and found that there's a lot of guys who are they'll deliver the firewood to you, a quart of it is going for like $400. To me, that seems pretty insane. Now, there's a lot of people too who are doing the firewood themselves, but to process enough firewood for a regular home, cords and cords, you're either going to be doing a lot of work, a lot of splitting with a maul or a wood splitting axe, or you're going to have some heavy equipment that requires maintenance, like a hydraulic wood splitter or things like that. But the beauty of it is, a person who lives on their own land that they own or has access to land, kind of like this here, can process enough firewood, I would say in a full day's work, or maybe even less, to heat their tiny house for the entire winter. Now granted, that's dependent on some things, like how well insulated your house is, the size of it. It's a small tiny house, or on the larger side of a tiny house, how well insulated it is, the climate you're at. But give or take, the average person with a chainsaw and a splitting axe can process their own firewood with relative ease. My brother used to live in a cabin not too many years ago, and it was, I think his cabin was 1,200 square feet on the small side compared to larger homes and cabins. But for him to heat his house, he heated it almost exclusively with wood, and it took, I think it was roughly 3 cords per year. And that's here in eastern North Carolina, so 400 times 3, that's $1,200 per year. Now my math may be a little off, but hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. So that's the beauty. That's the beauty of living in a tiny house and wanting to heat it with wood. You can quite easily do so, especially if you have access to wood. Here in North Carolina, you're allowed to go to public lands and collect the wood if it's already down. So if there's good oak that's already down, you can go out there with a chainsaw, with a truck or whatever, or a trailer, and collect the wood and throw it in the back and take it home and split it. So to me, that's just one more of the many, many benefits of living in a tiny house. Love the smell of fresh split wood.